Good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome back to Season 5 of Extra Innings. I am your host, William Suttle, and I am back with, for his third time, Andrew Magno, and he is from The Ohio State University. Last time we spoke with you was all the way back in 2022. It's crazy it's been that long since we spoke with you. Really glad to be out here and kind of get an update on your career and what you've been up to. So just to start with, the last two seasons that we didn't get to speak with you, you've been up and down with Toledo and Erie. What have you been able to learn from those different levels, whether that's with the coach or how the batters take your pitches and everything? What have you learned to get to where you're at now?
Yeah, it is a lot of just studying, hitters and sequences and things like that. I think AAA taught me, the margin of error as you get higher up is, less and less.
Mm-hmm.
They hit mistakes a little bit more. And then, controlling the count is a big thing. Didn't have a lot of success last year, but I was behind in a lot of counts. And when you have to, if you throw a good pitch, they're going to still put a good swing on it. And then this level, I think, is a lot of kind of just reading ABs. You can get away with a little bit more, but I think that's where my mindset is not relying on just being lucky and being able to execute at a high level. And so, it's been a lot of just understanding where I'm really good and the zones that I'm really good at. And then a lot of just being able to execute in those and try to do it at a high clip.
Yeah, and like you said, you want to get ahead. You don't ever want to be behind. You're kind of learning what they're doing at different levels. I do kind of want to touch on what you said at the beginning, though, studying. Mm-hmm. How much do you do? How much homework are you doing in the sense of, I know you're not going home every night and reading, pages and pages of scouting reports, but what goes into when you say studying?
We have a little scouting report on all the hitters first day of the week. But that comes down to just me kind of taking a look at the scouting report, and it's basically just finding where I can take advantage of certain pitches, mm-hmm. What not to throw hitters. And then I keep a notebook with me and a pen and then bring it down here whenever I need to kind of just brush up on it and figure out like how I need to go attack hitters. I try to keep it super simple. So if I have kind of a big advantage on a guy, it might just be, the word attack, where I know I can use everything to my strength, or if it's a certain, spot or location, I'll have that written down, but just kind of quick hitting notes. So I'm not, sitting out there trying to memorize a whole sentence about one guy.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Cause especially for, I would say, even I guess starters, but obviously with you being relief, it's just fascinating because it's like you see pitchers come in, they throw their warm-ups, they go right into it, but like there is a lot more that goes into it, and it's fascinating to hear that you keep a log, you keep a notebook, and it's as simple, like you said, it's just the word attack. Mm-hmm. So you know what to do, because for the average fan who might not have a family member or a friend or somebody they know in professional baseball, like what goes into it. Mm-hmm. So like you said, it's very fascinating to hear how you take that approach. So now being in the 2025 season, you've been with Erie so far this whole season. Have had an incredible season so far. What has gone into being able to play at such a high rate this year and being able to be so effective?
I think it's just a lot of consistency right now. I think at the start of the year it was a little bumpy, just trying to figure some things out, and then I made a switch just about how I think about kind of my mechanics, my preparation, and so from my stretch work to catch play before a game to if I get off the mound before a game or even in the game, everything is pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. If we have a bad one or we have a good one, I've been really cognizant of just not trying to make drastic changes throughout the week. And so it's been very, very consistent with all of my preparation. I think that helps me be a little more confident in going out there and executing. Mm-hmm. Is that I feel like I've put myself in the right position to do the best I can on that night.
Yeah, and like you said, it's down to just the simple things. Making sure you keep your routine the same, doing what works for you. If it's a certain stretch or if it's a certain pattern of throwing, it's whatever you need to do to be consistent. And it's amazing to see you've been able to do that all season and seeing your numbers. And like I mentioned before, starting July is one of the top ERA leaders in minor league baseball. I mean, that's just something that's just like, wow, like to reflect on. I know the season's not over. Just be like, wow, like hey, like what I'm doing, I'm not crazy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hey, like this is working.
Yeah, it's been a good
comforting.
result. It's been a good result of the work that I've put in this year, and it's nice to see it pay off that way.
Yeah. And then kind of what we mentioned beforehand, and like I said, it's just an interesting topic. You are a very passionate pitcher. You really get into it, and it's great to see that you care so much about your craft, and when it does work and you're successful, you're just like, yes, like I'm able to contribute to the team. Whether that was back in youth ball at Ohio State when you first got in this organization, where does that passion come, where you just get so into the game that you just kind of like lose it a little bit, and you're like, yes.
I mean, I think and everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
And I still love playing baseball, and I think that's just my kind of intensity coming out. I'm a completely different human being than I am, between the lines, and so I think just that's the way I play the game, is just very hard, focused, intent on what I'm trying to do and executing. And when you're able to execute and it pays off, like I'm gonna be pumped.
Oh yeah.
And it's more about, I don't know, it's more about being excited that I was able to do that. It's never about who might be up, or like just being able to like succeed in a high pressure situation. I gotta let that out at some point. I can't just be the guy that like cool calms walks off. Like that's just not who I am. And so just being just having fun and being excited about succeeding at my job and putting out a positive result. And I think that's just where it comes from, is the competition, the intensity, and just having an outlet to do that.
And also too, it's got to pump up the boys too. I mean, watching you come off, whether it was a clean inning or you had to come in with a little bit of traffic on there or whatnot, like it's it pumps them up. Like, hey, like he might be out there, and obviously we're in the game. He's doing what he's doing out there, but he's coming in like he's been playing with us the whole 5, 6, 7, 8 innings whenever you do decide to come in. So it is just like you said, it's. You care about it, you execute it correctly, and you're just so amped up. So it's just very fascinating because, like I mentioned before, a lot of things from when you're at Ohio State till now, it shows how passionate you are in some of these videos and photos. So it's just fascinating to know where it comes from, and it's all good. Yeah. It's all good reasons. You're not coming out with a Red Bull can crushing against your head and throwing it. You're not shotgunning one.
Yeah, no.
It's not coming from multiple Red Bulls.
Yeah. It's fun, man. And then like you said, it's fun to be able to contribute and help put us in a position to win and help the boys out. So
Yep. And then so recently here in this season, being in the league that you're in, you've gotten to play against the Richmond Flying Squirrels. Got to see an old buddy in Seth Lonsway. Garrett was there too. Can you just kind of talk about that moment when you guys were all together and you got to be like, hey, like we all used to be wearing scarlet and gray. Now we're here, like holy crap, like we actually got here. Yeah. How was that moment?
Yeah, it's great. You always check up on the guys that you play with, and specifically Buckeyes, and it's been cool to watch careers as they grow, and specifically Seth's, and watching him throw and thinking about the arm that he was at Ohio State, and thinking like this guy's easily going to be at the next level, and watching him put it together and have success is always great, and it's always fun to watch friends and teammates and be able to succeed and achieve. And it's been fun to watch Garrett do that this year. It's been great to watch Dane do it with Detroit, and to watch Seth change some things and become what he is, and it's awesome. And I'm super excited for him. I'm hopefully that keeps tracking and he gets a chance to play in San Francisco.
Yeah, because this week he just got called up to Sacramento.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
let's go
on Monday.
That's sick.
He got called up. I forget. Yeah, he reposted it that he got the call up. So hopefully, I don't know if that was just for a pinch start this week or not. But yeah, he got.
That's awesome, man. He deserves it. And that guy, there's not a lot of guys that I've seen that work harder than him, just in terms of his body and what he needs to do to be the high level pitcher that he is. And so that's really cool. So I'll have to text him after this, but yeah, that's fun, and it's just fun to see guys and be able to not only like your teammates around here that understand the experience, but then guys that were in the trenches in college ball that had the same experience there, and you get to talk about that experience now. And so yeah, it's a fun little brotherhood that we get to have.
Yeah, and that's great, and it's so nice to see that, especially your class, especially with so many talented players in the classes up and down, that you guys have all been so successful. So, uh, but yeah, I hope that we continue to see that success. We just had Dylan move up recently here this season, and we got Seth moving up. Everybody's moving on up, so hopefully we just keep this trend continuing, and we're all just moving up.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. But thank you so much for coming on today, Andrew. It was really nice to catch up with you. Can't wait to see what the rest of 2025 holds. Maybe we have a three-peat coming. We don't know yet. I mean, you've already won 2 back-to-back. Why stop at 2? It's like back when the Heat came back, they were like, not 4, not 5, not 6. I mean, hey, at this point, let's just keep it rolling,
Mm-hmm.
But
absolutely.
But best of luck the rest of the season, man.
Thank you.